Hello.
Good evening.
This has been quite the day.
We're
We,
here.
we are recording this several days before Valentine's, but at my day job, this is the holiday weekend.
Everyone has to look good for Valentine's Day,
I
Virginia.
know, I know,
You know that.
I know,
You got to work your magic on these people.
I know. And
They
I
have
do.
dates, they have
And
all
I
sorts of
do.
stuff happening.
And I do. I make it happen like that. So, yeah, um, something funny happened. So I was walking around a grocery store whose name I will not name because I probably would get in trouble for saying their name online. I don't know. Who knows? But a dear friend of mine, hi James, had told me that I should do something nice for myself. And I told him, unfortunately, due to some other needed things that had to happen first, doing something nice for myself was going to have to wait. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm getting flowers for the house. So, like, I got myself flowers under the guise that they're for my house. And as I'm walking around, David Bowie is always with me. For anyone who knows me in real life, they know about me and my Bowie-ness. And so I'm walking around the grocery store carrying this gigantic bunch of red roses, and Modern Love starts playing, and I am like singing along, and I don't care who hears me. So I'm just like, yeah, happy Valentine's to
Right.
myself, even though I can't stand it. Hi, Jenny.
Yeah, she's chiming in. Sorry
She's
about
chiming in.
that.
She agrees.
She's
She
my
agrees.
Valentine.
I know. She's my Valentine too.
A gift
Well,
from you to you is there's nothing better. A gift from you to your house, even better than that.
yeah. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of gifts from my
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Haven't we both?
Me too,
Oh
unfortunately.
my
My
gosh.
house
Our
loves oil for some reason. I don't know. It just
yeah.
loves oil.
Yeah, I get that.
Especially during these cold months. And oil is so nice and expensive. So
Oh, well, that's the longest intro we've ever had. It's been a day, and tonight we're going to be talking about more love. So I guess we better get to it.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
The sky, it's dark, and the wind is blowing. Come inside. Sit down with a cup of tea while we tell you a little story. A story that lies beyond the oblong box. With your hosts, Levi Leland and Virginia Poe.
I clearly wore the wrong shirt tonight. As everyone can see, one of our executive producers, Elliot, is up in my lap. Lucian is actually down here on the floor staring at the two of us. He's very upset that he is not in my lap. Elliot is playing with the strings on my shirt. Buddy, lay down, please. Can we lay down? Can we lay down, be a good boy? Lou? Oh gosh, Elliot, this might be a disastrous episode. Cats, man.
That's right. It makes it
Oh.
more fun.
Yeah. All right, buddy, you gotta be good. Just be good. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Virginia Poe, being attacked by a cat.
And I'm Levi Leland, not being attacked by a cat, but
Yet.
with a kind of a noisy dog right now. So, and yeah, the cat
Oh my gosh,
is
Elliot,
not attacking me yet.
No, Elliot. He is really trying to attack the. Ow! He is attacking everything. He is wired for sound at the moment. All right, buddy. We're gonna have to be good. Is mommy's gonna have to hold you, I think. This is gonna be interesting because he is not gonna hold still. And
You're just
I really need him to hold
accessorizing this
still.
episode
I
with a
am.
nice orange kitty.
I am accessorizing with a nice orange cat. Oh boy. It's a good thing he's handsome. Anyway, hi Levi.
Yeah, hello. I'd ask you how you are, but I already know. And vice versa. So
And vice versa. Yes. So yes, this is episode number 4 of season 2. I can't believe it's 4 already. But this is our second installment for the month of February for our series of For the Love of Poe. This episode is called First, Last, and Always. Anyhow, yes, until the end of time.
That should be a nice hint for Poe fans. First, last,
and always.
And always. Who could we be talking about tonight?
Would that be a one Miss Elmira Royster?
The one and only.
Oh.
The one that got away.
The one that got away.
But then didn't. But then.
Yeah. But then.
Maybe did. I don't know.
It's very difficult to say.
Yeah. So last week we covered Poe's mother.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of first love of his life in a figurative way.
Right. That unconditional love that we all strive for.
Right. And so now we're going to move on to Elmira, and with another brief mention.
Yes.
That we will get into. Mention. So, Elmira Royster.
Mm-hmm.
She was a child, and he was a child.
Yes, and who we sometimes do feel that Annabelle Lee is for. I feel like it's probably a little for both of them.
Yeah.
For both she and Virginia.
Yeah, I think it's a strong possibility that Poe had more than one woman in mind, I guess, for that poem. It can embody just many loves and
but if you're going
love
on that
itself.
Surface level, we keep going back to this poem. But if you go to that just like very on face value of what you're reading, that she was a child and I was a child. That was his childhood love.
Yes, and in the poem he mentions her highborn kinsman came and bore her away from him. And so we can talk about that a little bit.
Sorry.
That's all right. You just had to move one Poe to expose another.
Another Poe. Yeah.
It's fine. My background is a lot less impressive. I'm still setting things up, but yeah. It's getting there. We'll get there.
Don't worry. It'll get there.
But yeah, so they met in Richmond, Virginia, both of their hometowns where they grew up. And apparently there was this little secret garden or something that they used to meet in together. They were very young, of course, early teens.
Children, in a sense.
Children, yeah, and for sure. And they apparently had a little secret engagement together right before Poe went off to the University of Virginia. And so there's not many fragments of things from their early days together, their early years, however long. I mean, obviously they didn't really correspond because they lived in the same town. They met in person. We only have anecdotal things about it. Poe did do a cute little crayon portrait of her, though. It's that the Poe Museum has a copy of it. I want to say. I think the original is still gone. They don't have the original, but there's a copy that was made at some point, and that's what we have, or a facsimile or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
but Poe went off to college and apparently was writing to Elmira, and her father, not really approving of Poe, the orphaned son of unscrupulous actors, right? As was the idea of the
Mhm.
time. He didn't want his daughter mingling with that. So he intercepted the
Yeah.
letters, apparently burned them. And so Elmira, just thinking Poe had forgotten about her when he went off to college, married someone else.
Yep. Tragically.
Yeah. And then Poe found this out and was, of course, devastated, I'm
Devastated.
sure. But there were plenty of other fish in the sea, right? There were many other Poe women to come,
Yes.
including
But this,
her.
yeah, including her.
Including her. But so to kind of jump back to the point, Annabelle Lee, it's one of those poems that is attributed to Elmira for those reasons, those superficial reasons we just kind of mentioned, of those face value things from the poem,
Mhm.
and then of course her highborn kinsman being her father that bore her away from him, bore
Yeah.
her away from Poe.
Yeah.
He was kind of the cause of the disruption of this
Right.
secret engagement.
Yes.
And so jump ahead another 30, 25 years
25
ish,
years. Yeah.
25 years. I really need to try to stop doing quick math in my head because I make a fool out of myself more often than I don't. So
Math and I are not friends either.
yeah.
So you're fine.
Elmira is now widowed. Um,
Mhm.
and apparently her husband, I'm totally just going on my memory here. He died after getting pneumonia by jumping into the James River to save a drowning man. Pretty sure that
I
was him.
feel like that is him. Yes.
Yeah. Because I remember he died kind of heroically.
Yes. And
We'll
my
fact
notes,
check that.
my notes are not in front of me. I don't know where they.
I figured this episode I would go totally based on my memory. I have no notes. I have nothing. I'm just going to try to impress everybody or completely fail everybody by not correctly remembering anything. But
We're hoping for the
we're going to get
first.
our team of fact checkers on this one. Okay? I'm actually emailing them right now. We have a team of 29 crew members who fact check for us now. I'm pretty sure he
They're all
jumped
the
into the
cats.
James River. Yeah, they're all cats and a dog. He jumped into the James River to save a drowning man.
Yes.
He got pneumonia and then died, and that's
then
how she
died.
became widowed.
Yeah.
And so it just so happened that she was widowed once again. Poe was able to kind of reconvene and he was also a widower. So he
Yes.
goes back to Richmond, Virginia at the end of his life, catches up with Elmira. How convenient. They're both single again.
Single.
They get engaged again.
Yes.
And that's the beginning of the end for Poe. He travels
Yes.
to Baltimore to then travel to Philadelphia, then to go to New York to get Maria Clem, to go back to Richmond for the wedding. Da 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 da. Poe never makes it. He dies.
Nope. He dies. We all know that.
So Elmira is
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Poe is dead. I don't know if the audience knew that, but he's dead.
What?
Yeah, I know. When I found this out, I was devastated.
Oh.
So she's once again just left at the altar by Poe. This time he has a more valid excuse.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. We have the giggles. We've been having the
we're
giggles.
fine.
We're fine. Really, we are. Oh.
But
Gonna
he's
drink
dead.
more water.
She's left at the altar. And then she kind of starts, like, in the very beginning of that, she's okay. She misses Poe and she's talking about him and she's answering letters and she's, corresponding with Maria Clem and, but then in the subsequent years after this, she kind of starts to remove herself from that whole thing a bit. She kind of, at one point, obviously interest in Poe is becoming more after his
Sure.
death. and now people are more curious about his life and the people in his
And
life, and so they're tracking these people down and interviewing them and trying to
yeah.
correspond with them to get information because everyone's writing biographies and articles and whatever about Poe. And at one
And
point,
and that is all thanks to an obituary that
yeah,
backfired.
essentially, yeah, an obituary that kind of
Nice try,
had a
Rufus.
reverse psychology effect. It was like, here, I'm going to try to make everyone hate you, but in doing so, I made people more interested in you.
I
That's
made
just,
you famous.
yeah. So thankfully, yeah.
Oh,
So she at one point kind of denied even knowing Poe, I guess, in a way. I know her
yeah,
children loathed Poe.
yeah.
They thought he was just after her money. Um, and it was just a mess. But she was his first and last love. Annabelle Lee, Poe had intended to be published alongside the wedding announcement to
Yes.
Elmira.
Yes. Another reason why
It could
we
be
believe
attributed to Elmira. Yes,
yes.
another context clue right there. And that's probably
Yeah.
the biggest one. I feel like if Poe, and this is just my opinion, if this poem was truly written for one particular woman, and I'm not saying it wasn't written with Virginia in mind, but if it was this totally heartfelt, direct poem straight to Virginia, would he have published it alongside a wedding announcement with another woman? I think he would have kept it more exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and I'm not saying that it, again, wasn't written with Virginia in mind, but again, it could have embodied numerous women in his life. And,
Sure.
it was a love poem.
It
And,
was.
it could be used in any context of love that Poe decided he wanted to use it in. So,
Right.
um,
It's the beauty of reading poetry or looking at a painting or even,
yeah,
you
any kind of art.
any kind of
It's
art.
ambiguous. It can be translated by anyone, any
It's what
which
it
way
means to
to
you.
them. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So, and unfortunately, we just don't have any exact accounts of
Mhm.
Poe saying exactly who the poem was written. A lot of his works and his poetry, I mean, unless it was out, it had a title in after somebody specific. I know he titled the poem to my mother, which was Maria Clem, and
Mhm.
and to Frances Osgood, and to Sarah Helen Whitman, and
Yeah.
to another woman, Jane Stannard.
Yes.
And so, some of his works are very precisely attributed to a certain person, but some aren't. And so we're left to kind of decide for ourselves. But speaking of Jane Stannard,
Yes, Jane.
that was the best segue I've ever done. No.
No, it was actually
It was choppy. No.
Wait.
Yay.
Yay!
I'm just trying to move us along so the audience's ears don't start bleeding. We're fine. We're doing fine. We're doing
Great.
We're great. But Jane Stannard. So I think Virginia is going to treat us tonight with a recitation. Is that
a recitation? I
a
don't know.
recitation?
Do we call it a recitation?
No, I think it's like a recitation, but I think when you want to be fancy, you can be like a recitation.
A recitation.
To Helen.
Oh, I am reading to Helen. Okay.
Not to my Helen, though.
No.
Helen Whitman.
No, we holler at your girl like every other week, so it's okay. we need to let someone else have the spotlight. So I just want to put it out there. This copy that I have, it's from 1951. My baby brother got this for me for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I was like,
very special.
Yeah. So it's got that old book smell. I love it.
It's always the best scent. They need to bottle that stuff up.
I know. I would wear it as a perfume if I knew it would smell good on me. Oh dear. Elliot. Okay. See, I knew this was going to be a problem. Buddy, no, Mommy doesn't want you chewing that. Can we turn you the other way while Mommy reads this poem so you're not chewing on Mommy's cord? Please? Oh my goodness. Ow. So I have
Is that it again?
Lots of ribbons and things. Okay, buddy.
They're very distracting for the cats.
Very distracting for the cats. I'm going to have to put him down. Go play with your brother. Okay. He's very upset that I put him on the floor. But sorry, everyone, now that I am Sans cat. To Helen. Helen, thy beauty is to me like those Nicean barks of yore, that gently o'er a perfumed sea, the weary, wayworn wanderer borne to his own native shore. On desperate seas long wont to roam, thy hyacinth hair, thy classic face, thy naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome. Lo, in yon brilliant window niche, how statue-like I see thee stand, the agate lamp within thy hand. Ah, Psyche, from the regions which are Holy Land.
Brava, brava. That was seamless. Very well done.
Thank you.
So that poem, like a Greek column, is perfect. Perfectly constructed.
3 stanzas.
Stable as ever.
Yes.
And it is defined as one of Poe's like best examples of poetry. And that was written for, of course, Jane Stith Stannard, the mother of his schoolmate, Robert Stannard. And so apparently Poe used to go to his house after school, and Jane would make him tea, and they would share poetry, and she was almost like a mother figure, she encouraged
him.
Poe. Yeah, she encouraged Poe to pursue poetry and to pursue literature like he wanted and was already exhibiting talent in, while his foster parents, especially John Allen, didn't really encourage it. That wasn't a practical pursuit or profession for a gentleman in that time. So she was one of Poe's first tragedies that in his life that he was present for and recalled with full cognizance. His mother, of course, we talked about, last episode, but I mean, he was a toddler. How much did he really remember? And
exactly.
He didn't go through this heartbreak with his mother, whereas Jane,
Unlike
he did.
Jane, I mean,
she died when he was 15.
Yeah.
So that's a very
that's
impressionable
very hard.
age. Yeah.
It can really change you.
Yeah. For sure. So she was a huge influence. She died of a brain tumor. A lot of the people around her, said she died of insanity, but she wasn't going insane. She had a brain tumor, so it's, again, another tragic death. And Poe, I'm sure, watched this rapid decline and ultimate death of this woman that became a mother figure, a female, goddess in his life. She inspired that poem, and we know how Poe, I don't know if worshipped is too strong of a word, but he really did admire women in his life, and they were an inspiration and a true impression on him. So Jane was a tragic loss for Poe, and so that's why she gets a brief mention in this bit, because even though we are kind of focusing on Elmira and talked a lot about Elmira being Poe's first legitimate love, a romantic love.
Love, yeah.
Jane was without a doubt a huge part of Poe's youth.
Sure. Oh, sure.
So we're glad that we were able to share that, and Virginia was able to share that poem to Helen.
I love reading poems.
We'll have to read the other two Helen too. They
Oh,
often get
I would love
confused.
to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
no,
have to do that. There's two. Poe has two poems in his collected works titled "To Helen,"
to Helen. Yeah.
and which kind of brings me to
In this copy, it actually they're like 20 pages apart. But hold on, let me I'll turn to it because I know what page it's on. Oddly enough, I know what page that's on. It would actually help if I put on my other glasses. I believe it's the way they have it categorized in here that I thought was interesting because I've not seen it done like this before. And I don't know if the whoops. Wait.
oh yes, they
how it has
in parentheses Whitman
Yeah.
to distinguish
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah. Which
But
I thought was interesting because I've never seen it done like that.
yeah, no, I have online on eapo.org is but they're very specific on that site. But yeah, often in
Sure.
the published editions you don't see that, so that's interesting.
Mm-mm.
That's an interesting
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was
distinguishing factor.
Yeah.
I don't recall why Jane he referred to her as Helen in that poem, or if that was a nickname that she had. Going off of my memory, I don't recall if she was referred to as Helen.
I am kind of feeling like it has something to do, and we can talk about this later, or we can even put this in our Discord. But I've always thought it had something to do with it, as much symbolism and references he has to Greek and Roman mythology.
Yeah.
I thought that's why that was there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually, now that you say that, I do remember that being the reference. So yeah, I would wonder. I wish. Yeah, I'm gonna do more research on this and see exactly where the how she exactly became the subject of this poem. And how and what was the factor that scholars were able to trace that Poe said this was this poem was for Jane.
Yeah.
Interesting. More interesting women in Poe's life. Who's next? What do you want to announce? What do we have in store for next week?
Oh, I don't know. It's it'll be our post Valentine's episode.
Shall
do we want to talk about your girl this time?
We could. There is one, if we're going in chronological order.
Yeah.
There's a woman that was quite significant. She was and she had some ties to both Poe and Virginia.
Yes.
So let's talk about her next week. We'll give the viewers something to look forward to.
Yes.
Marie Starr was her pseudonym.
Yes.
But Mary Devereaux, I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes.
Devereaux. She was an interesting one. Part of Poe's early life and his latter life. Later life. Yeah. Let's talk about her next week.
Yeah, let's talk about her next week because there's some interesting things to say about
Very
her.
interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like her. I kind of like her.
She relates to our theme song, our intro.
She does.
Viewers will find that out too. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Speaking of,
it'll be exciting.
Our viewers, totally excited. Elliot's, I'm soothing the savage beast here. Face scratches. So before we go, not to forget that Telltale Steampunk Festival is coming up April 1st and 2nd, Hunt Valley in Baltimore, Maryland. Technically it's Hunt Valley, Maryland, but it's part of Baltimore County. It counts. So we are going to be there. We are going to be doing a live taping in front of a studio audience.
Maybe Virginia can recite a poem.
I think I probably will. I believe we might be doing 2 different segments.
Ooh,
I think it's how this is working out. So we're going to have the first half because it's an hour slot. So we're going to do our main topic in the first half, and the second half is going to be another topic that is pertaining specifically to the convention. So
Exciting.
That will be very fun and exciting. And of course, you know, I mean, I like this particular venue very much. I've been to quite a few conventions at that hotel, and it's, you know, sentimental to me for many
Near and
reasons.
dear.
So yeah, it is near and dear, and it's quite sweet. Yeah, and it's not too far away from me, so that's even better. It's very convenient. And just want to give a quick shout out to those who have become patrons on our Patreon already. Thank you so much. We have some black cats, which is awesome. Yay. So I don't know how many people have heard or seen, but we do have a couple different tiers on Patreon. We have our gold bugs, we have our beating hearts, we have our black cats, and our ravens. And of course there are thank yous for each level, including extra content and birthday and death day, unbirthday,
Unbirthday. That's
unbirthday gifts that will go out. Yeah, we also have a Discord now. So, of course, you can join us there. And oh my gosh, all of our viewers on YouTube. I didn't know we had so many. Thank you all.
Yeah, they're racking up. We appreciate
I'm
the support
surprised.
immensely. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. And everyone who's been leaving us kind words, it would be awesome if you could all write a written review, because that will help us grow as well. We're trying.
Yeah,
and our business bookmarks are getting printed on Monday.
Those are cool. I'm very excited about those.
I can't wait to share those with everybody.
It's gonna be so
they're
cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
They're perfect.
And I want to encourage the viewers too to send us topics that you want to hear and questions that you might have. We can certainly answer those, whether it be about Poe or someone in Poe's life or one of Poe's contemporaries, maybe someone who has been inspired by Poe, past, present, or future.
Exactly.
And even if it's about us, if you want to know more about us, don't be shy.
Send us a message.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Send us a message.
We definitely want to make this fun and inviting, and we want to keep the dialogue going. So
yes,
reach
out. Reach out.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Levi.
Thank you, Virginia. And we will see everybody, or they will hear us and see us. We won't see them next week.
but they'll see us.
They'll see us. You guys can see us next week. God.
Wow. Jeez.
You're all just so obsessed.
I wish.
Get a Valentine, will ya?
I've got one. He's right here.
That's the best one.
Such a good boy. All right.
Goodbye, folks.
See you all later, and until next time.
You've been listening to Beyond the Oblong Box with your hosts, Levi Leland and Virginia Poe. Produced by EGL Brothers Limited, with production assistance from Peter D. Come rest in this bosom, arranged and performed by the Ninth Heaven. You can find us online on Facebook at BTOB Podcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Beyond the Oblong Box. And you can also reach us by email at btob1847@gmail.com. Please support our podcast by visiting us on our YouTube channel or any of your preferred podcast platforms.